G'day folks, I just thought I'd do a bit of an update on this thing. I was working on it late last night, so I don't think I got any video of it then, but I did go over it and run a spanner over most things because the Chinese obviously don't use torque wrenches or locking compounds. I've replaced all these metal shims with spring washers because these bolts had worked almost halfway out, and that holds the main sprocket on, so that's not good. But luckily no stripped or buggered threads. They did lock up nice and tight with spring washers and Loctite on them, so they're not going anywhere soon. And I flushed the fuel system out and tried to kickstart it with the buggered kickstarter. I got one decent pop out of it and then I just pretty much gave up. It's either going to kill my leg or just wreck the remains of the kickstarter, so I've got to buy a new one of those. I'm not push starting it because the clutch doesn't disengage properly. It's an adjustment issue, I believe. It's hardly been used, so it could also be stuck from sitting, which is something I don't really want. I don't want to have to crack the casing open right now, but it is possible. Straighten all this up. I've got to take the handlebars off next and check them for straightness. I'm pretty sure they're bent, but I'll at least try and straighten them. Otherwise I'll just order some new ones through one of the mini bike shops. There's plenty of people that specialise in these. Then should be able to ride it on. Tyres, I need 2 new tubes because neither of these hold air very well. Being cheap Chinese shit, they generally don't last very long. So I've got 2 new tubes, can of chain lube. Chain's still new, so I'll try and preserve it as best I can. It doesn't look like anyone's ever oiled it or greased it. So I'll get a can of chain wax. Bash plate's bent too, so it hit something, gone over something. But apart from that, everything else looks fine. The frame's not bent or cracked. All these bolts are still tight. They're obviously nylock nutted, but anything that didn't have nylock nuts on it's generally worked loose. Even these things here are a bit loose. So be wary when you buy one of these. Run a spanner over it and replace the metal shims if I can find them again. I think I threw them out, but there's a pressed metal, like a half moon, that goes between the 2 bolts with 2 tabs that bend up into there. Now those were doing absolutely jack shit to keep the bolts from coming loose, so I advise replacing them with spring washers and maybe even a bit of Loctite on the threads if they've worked loose, and probably egg the threads out a little bit. Loctite's also your best friend. Just don't use any extreme hard stuff. I use bearing retainer, so it can be broken free relatively easily, but it's strong enough not to come free under normal operation. Brakes are good too. Rear brake works fine. That had vibrated loose and the hose had been rubbing on the tyre though, so that's all fixed. Yeah, I've got to take it outside and give it a wash. It's dark at the moment. I didn't get back until about 6:30, so I'm a bit behind on this one. I was hoping to wash it today, but that didn't happen. So yeah, let's do the handlebars next. Thanks for watching.